Welcome back. Well, actually, it's not welcome back yet because this is the first episode of a new show that I'm starting, and I'm calling it Meow. That means my excessive amount of opinions. So I've been told by the other buddies with film degrees as well as other people in my life that I have an excessive amount of opinions on things that don't matter. Now, obviously, they're wrong, but today I wanted to go over one of those opinions, and who knows, maybe if you guys like this and if I have more time on my hands, maybe I'll make this as a whole series, who knows. But anyways, time to talk about what today we're gonna talk about. I have no idea if that's gonna look good in camera with or without. I don't know yet. So I don't know, should I risk it and keep it in? Just keep it on the whole time? It's like the girl from Fatal Attraction. I should probably stop that. So back in January, when I was watching The Last of Us HBO Max show, I noticed that there was a familiar face in the cast, and no, it wasn't Grogu. It was Anna Torv. I'm assuming I'm pronouncing that name right, but I have actually not seen her in anything since that show. But it was like messing with me because I kept looking at her and I was like, where have I seen you from? Well, it turns out it's this little show called Fringe. Yes, so Fringe is a sci-fi show, and basically it's kind of like 2000s X-Files, if anybody who's watching this knows what X-Files is. Hell, people who watch this probably don't know what Fringe is. Well, I don't know, maybe. The show revolves around an FBI agent, Olivia Dunham, solving a bunch of fringe science cases with the help of Peter Bishop and his father, Walter Bishop. And that's basically the main premise of the show, and there are 5 or 6 seasons. And after The Last of Us, I started watching them, and I realized this show is really fucking good. See, every episode is like a normal kind of detective show in the sense that there's a new case every single episode, but the twist with this is that not only is every thing that happens based on some weird scientific principle taken to the max, but also there's an overarching plot over the course of the 6 seasons about 2 universes and basically saving the world from utter destruction between the 2 universes. And see, that's really like that's just kind of a neat concept, right? You're going through and solving a bunch of mysteries, and then there's an overarching mystery in each season, and then there's an overarching mystery over the course of the show, and you get to the end of it and you wrap everything up by the end. But what's so amazing about this show is that they knew more or less what the ending would be from the beginning. So this show was created or produced or whatever you want to call it by J.J. Abrams, and he also did another show at the time called Lost. A lot of you probably remember it if you grew up in the 2000s or if you were like in your teens in the 2000s. And that show is the bomb diggity for like the first 2 seasons. And then after that, it kind of drops off and then the ending sucks. That show was also produced by J.J. Abrams, and he has a tactic that I'm sure some of you have heard called the mystery box writing technique, which is you start your movie, with your protagonist, whatever, and then you have a mystery box that nobody knows what's inside the box, but it's alluring because the characters and the audience both want to know what's in the box. Now, a lot of people have critiqued this writing technique for a multitude of reasons. I think the main point that sticks is that when J.J. Abrams creates a mystery box, he doesn't know what's in it.
Oh, what's in the box? What's in the fucking box?
Because, well, in his mind, it's more about the journey. It's more about the characters finding the thing than what it actually is at the end of the day. But that leaves a lot of audiences unsatisfied, especially in the context of a TV show. See, a show like Lost has this overarching plot about this really mysterious island, not the Jules Verne one, where there's a polar bear and there's a gas monster and all this crazy stuff happens in like the first couple episodes, and then this guy gets unparalyzed by a plane crash. They're not able to leave, then they have to go back to it. Then there's time travel. Then there's all these different like things that are happening and they're crazy. And then the guy who's like the god of the island is like an Egyptian deity, but he's also able to just be like stabbed or hit or something. I can't remember how he dies. And then the end of the series has everything happening because inside the island there's like a rock. And that was the mystery box. Now again, they didn't know what it was going to be at the beginning. It was just throwing a lot of weird stuff out there that really intrigued the audience. It grips you. You're like, why is there a polar bear on an island that's clearly somewhere around the equator? Why is there a big smoke monster? Why is this guy such a good actor? But then the show is not able to answer any of these questions because it doesn't know what the answers are before it asks them. Now, in terms of developing a theme or something like that, that's fine. You don't have to have an answer for that. Like if your theme is, you know, about human perseverance through adversity, you don't necessarily have to have an answer as to whether or not it's justified. You know, that can make an interesting theme to explore. But when it comes to plot, you need to have an answer about what's going to happen at the end. Otherwise, the beginning means nothing. But this is something that Fringe has no problems doing. Spoiler alert, there are these bald guys who are like time travelers, and they're going back and observing a bunch of different things. This is not like Marvel Comics. It's not like that at all. They're not introduced as a concept until the middle of season 1 and not really explained all that much until season 3. But apparently you can spot this observer, this bald person, as early as episode 1, just walking in the background. And you can do that in every single episode at some point or another. Apparently they're in there. I've spotted some of them. I haven't seen all of them, but I also forget to look. So that's just me. But see, that's just a microcosm of what this show does, is that it plans mysteries to give to the audience, and then it delivers on them in not only a logistical sense that makes sense, you know, more or less. Obviously it's a TV show, a little bit of it's wonky, but it also accomplishes the emotional relevance that is central to this show. There are 2 or 3 core emotional dynamics in the show, and that is between Peter and Olivia, which is the romance angle, all that stuff, between Peter and his father, which is more of the father-son dynamic mixed with a little bit of, kidnapping. And there's also the dynamic between Olivia and Walter. What makes the show so engaging is not only the mini mystery of each episode, and not only the max mystery of the season or the entire show, but it's these character dynamics. The entire reason for everything happening in this universe is because Walter, as a younger man, thought he was God. And well, one of the only other people who was able to challenge God's authority eventually became the devil. And the show is all about Walter's mistakes and, him and his son and Olivia going and trying to fix them. At its core, that's what it's really about. And that's what makes it such an engaging show. It has some late aughts kind of awkward TV-ish tropes that are thrown in there. But overall, the humor hits pretty well. Lance Reddick is in it. I completely forgot about that. He's in it, and he's fantastic in the show. But the writing is solid all the way through, not only, again, in terms of just logistical reasoning, but also in terms of an emotional core. It's able to write these characters as though they are the same characters each episode in each season. Special effects are kind of a hit or miss, but I mean, what are you going to expect? It's a TV show from 2010, so. But with all that being said, I just want to express my love and appreciation of the show that I had not watched in over 15 years, and now my wife and I are able to watch an episode before she goes to bed at 7 p.m. And it's just it's such a good throwback into media that wasn't shit. I can't tell you the last time I've watched a live action show that was made in the last few years that I was like, wow, that was really good. Andor's the exception to that. Andor is the exception to that. But still, my point remains. You guys know what I'm talking about. And you know what? maybe I'll do a video essay on this topic in the near future. But that's all I have for today. I just wanted to try out something different, something a bit more rambly, as though every other video I make is not rambling. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Do you guys want to hear more opinions that I have? I have some more niche opinions that I could get into, but I thought I would do something a bit more positive and something maybe not talked about as much. But yeah, we can get into some nitty-gritty stuff here in future episodes. But with that being said, I've been Kyle, and I still am. And get the hell out of my house.